giving up material pleasures, activities that we enjoy, or habits that have become addictive or counterproductive. Habits can be tangible things like chocolate or social media or video games, but they can also be intangible practices, tendencies, or ways of being in the world. We might, for example, need to give up toxic positivity, the forced optimism that hides our true feelings and prevents us from being authentic with God and with other people. We may need to relinquish perfectionism, not the kind that Christ teaches us to strive for when he called us to be perfect in our love for one another. Matthew chapter 5, verse 48. In our charity and trust in God's provision rather than in the riches of this world. Matthew chapter 19, verse 21. And in our unity. John chapter 17, verse 2. The kind of perfection we need to give up is the kind that tempts us to believe that we are, or ought to be, inhuman, infallible, and inerrant. The thing is, abnegation does not necessarily strengthen discipleship. Giving up something does not teach us what we need to do or be, only what we need not to do or be. Very often, when we give up something that is counterproductive, it leaves a void that we then fill, often unwittingly, with yet another counterproductive habit. This is why people who quit using recreational drugs might end up smoking cigarettes, or why people who quit smoking cigarettes might end up overeating. Thoughtful Lenten disciplines, then, need to be about more than giving up unproductive practices. They should also involve taking on practices that nourish and enrich us, practices that usher us not toward death but toward resurrection, because ultimately, that is what Lent is about, death yielding to resurrection. In fact, it is what Christian discipleship is about. We give up counterproductive, unjust, and unholy ways of being so that we can take on the deeper, richer, fuller life that Christ offers us. The beauty of this approach is that this spiritual formation does not have to be limited to the 47 days between Ash Wednesday and Easter Sunday. I have never understood why Lenten disciplines end at Easter. After all, if they are supposed to be good for our relationship with God, why wouldn't we keep doing them? Maybe it is because we have made Lenten disciplines all about death and self-denial. While Lent is a special opportunity for remembering Christ's suffering, its practices should always remind us that we are a resurrection people. This is what Christian spiritual disciplines do. They point us to and through resurrection in everyday life. When I began observing Lent, I quickly realized that my discipleship required a different type of fast, an ongoing one. I wanted a year-round practice that would help me to live into Christ's resurrection promises in the midst of a world that continuously offers death. I am a 2-time breast cancer survivor from an extended family that has lost several people to the disease. I am technically cancer-free, but also keenly aware that a stray cancer cell could lurk somewhere in my body, waiting to attack again. Awareness of the possibility of early death is with me daily. I need a practice that ushers me into resurrection. I am an African American woman, a survivor of the transatlantic slave trade, living in the South during the resurgence of white Christian nationalism, when the names of Black people killed by the police become hashtags on a regular basis, and when a right-wing controlled Supreme Court is eroding civil rights and environmental justice. Awareness of the possibility of unjust death is with me daily. I need a practice that ushers me into resurrection. I am an American living in the time of the COVID-19 pandemic, when news of the deaths of extended family and friends arrives regularly, when every encounter with an unmasked and unvaccinated person poses a threat to me and my family. Awareness of the possibility of needless death is with me daily. I need a practice that ushers me into resurrection.